It was a bright and sunny Sunday morning on November 12, 2023, when King Charles IV of the United Kingdom and his wife Queen Consort Camilla were visiting the Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery in Nairobi, Kenya as part of their royal tour of East Africa. The king, aged 74, was being guided along an artificial grass walkway when suddenly and quite unexpectedly, his foot caught on a roll of the artificial turf and he tripped. The king wobbled briefly, arms flailing about, as he struggled to maintain his balance. Queen Camilla, aged 76, quickly reached out to steady her husband, grabbing his arm in an effort to keep the king upright. Fortunately, King Charles IV was able to recover his footing rapidly, smoothly placing his sunglasses over his eyes, as if nothing had happened, and continuing down the walkway. The incident, though minor, was captured on video and seen by people all around the world. An aide later remarked that the king was simply caught off guard when his foot snagged on the astroturf, but was unharmed from the stumble. He carried on with the day's engagements unfazed. While King Charles' misstep in Kenya was a rare case of clumsiness for the typically poised monarch, other members of the British royal family have also had their share of awkward public moments over the years. Take Kate Middleton, Princess of Wales, for example. The grace and elegance she demonstrates today as one of the most senior royals was hard-won, as evident by an embarrassing incident back in September 2019. The princess, then aged 37, was attending a charity engagement in London alongside her dashing husband, Prince William, then also 37 years old. The charity was Shout, a text messaging support service that the couple were patrons of. That day, they had visited the Troubadour White City Theatre to learn more about the service and to speak with volunteers and service users about their experiences. As the photogenic pair left the theater waving to crowds of well-wishers, the princess stumbled slightly in her black high-heel shoes as she went to get into the waiting car. Ever the gentleman, Prince William quickly offered his hand to stable his wife. But Kate had already recovered her footing. Both smiled and appeared to laugh off the awkward moment as they ducked into the back seat of the vehicle and were whisked away. Though brief and minor, the incident was a reminder that even the most refined public figures are not immune to the occasional clumsy mistake. Even more surprising than Kate's rare stumble was an incident involving her regal aunt-in-law, Princess Anne, the Queen's only daughter. Anne, renowned for being tough, hardworking, and no-nonsense, suffered the indignity of slipping and falling onto the ground during a walkabout on the island of Guernsey in 2002. As the Princess Royal greeted crowds who had gathered to see her, she lost her footing on the cobblestone pavement and fell to the ground in an ungraceful heap. A well-meaning bailiff named Geoffrey Rowland immediately dashed over and reached down to help the princess up. However, independent Anne sternly refused his assistance, saying, "No, don't do that, thank you. Grabbing me round my won't help. I'm perfectly capable of getting myself up." Anne quickly righted herself and went on greeting crowds as if nothing had happened. Mr. Rowland sheepishly returned to his post. An observer later said that while the princess was clearly annoyed at her public fall, she seemed most irritated by the bailiff's attempt to come to her aid. Having to be helped up added insult to the injury of stumbling in the first place. But the no-nonsense Anne was not one to wallow in embarrassment. Like the rest of the royals, public stoicism prevailed. This stiff upper lip in the face of awkward moments seems to run in the family, as evidenced by an incident involving Sophie, Countess of Wessex, in 2017. Sophie, wife of the Queen's youngest son Prince Edward, was stepping into a carriage at the Royal Ascot races when she accidentally tripped and fell into the lap of Kate Middleton, who was already seated. Kate's eyes widened in surprise as the Countess tumbled into her arms. Both ladies handled the unscripted scene admirably, smiling and laughing it off without missing a beat. Prince Edward and Prince William seemed to share in their amusement over this silly snafu. Though older members of the royal family have decades of experience concealing slip-ups, even the younger generation, known for being more relaxed, have ably risen to the challenge when embarrassments occur. Prince Harry, in particular, has shown a willingness to laugh at himself that has endeared him to the public. In March 2012, 27-year-old Prince Harry embarked on a Diamond Jubilee tour of countries from the Caribbean to Brazil. While in Rio de Janeiro, Harry participated in a 1-mile charity run on the beach with local children and families for sports relief. The athletic prince gave it his all, despite the hot sand and tropical heat. Later the same day, he played a game of rugby with kids from a local school. Harry was so focused on bonding with the children that he threw himself fully into the match, even ending up tumbling and rolling around joyfully in the sand at several points. The image of the happy-go-lucky prince laughing at himself as he fell down while playing with the kids was a heartwarming one. Moments like these remind the world that royals are human too. In the end, the occasional stumble or embarrassing minute makes the British royals somehow even more endearing. Their reactions in these unguarded instances offer a glimpse at their true personalities and character. Whether quickly recovering their poise, scolding unwanted aid, or simply laughing off a clumsy misstep, they each handle these minor adversities with grace. At the end of the day, a small fall here or there matters little compared to their lifelong commitment to exemplary public service. As long as they keep calm and carry on, royal fans will continue to offer support when embarrassing slips occur. Their human moments make us love them all the more. Even royalty, with all their poise and grace, can't escape the occasional embarrassing tumble or trip. Princess Diana, the beloved late Princess of Wales, proved she was just an ordinary person when she went up some stairs to board a plane during a 1991 visit to Pakistan. As she climbed the stairs, she somehow tripped and fell forwards. She had to quickly grab the handrail to stop herself from falling all the way down the steps. It was mortifying, and to make matters worse, after she finally made it onto the plane, they were delayed for an entire hour because of stormy weather. Sitting there waiting to take off after such an awkward fall must have felt like forever. Another royal who has taken a spill in front of lots of people is Zara Tindall, daughter of Princess Anne. Back in September 2019, Zara was competing in the Burghley Horse Trials in Lincolnshire. Her husband Mike and their 2 daughters Mia and Lena were there in the stands watching. As Zara was jumping her horse over some obstacles, she suddenly fell right off. 1 second she was balanced perfectly in the saddle, the next she had tumbled to the ground. Thankfully she wasn't hurt, but it's never fun to mess up in front of your family. In April 2011, the wife of the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Hamza bint Nasser Al Misand, also had a little trip in front of lots of people. She was visiting Madrid, Spain, and walking along with her husband and Spain's former king Juan Carlos. Somehow the heel of one of her shoes got stuck in a drain cover in the ground. Before she knew it, Sheikh Hamza had face-planted right there on the street. Her husband and the king didn't even react or try to help, they just kept walking. How awful, I bet she wanted to disappear into thin air. At least she smoothly slipped off the shoe that got caught and kept going with one bare foot. Another royal who bit the dust is Prince Laurent of Belgium. In July 2011, he arrived at the wedding of Prince Albert and Charlene Wittstock in Monaco. As he walked down the red carpet, some misstep caused him to completely wipe out. He would have face-planted if a guard hadn't grabbed him just in time. The guard helped him back to his feet, and Prince Laurent shook it off and went on his merry way into the ceremony. But getting helped up by a guard after a total meltdown on the red carpet? So embarrassing. In the year 2000, Queen Sofia of Spain learned firsthand that walking in heels, long dresses, and stairs is a recipe for disaster. She was arriving for a fancy state dinner at the White House. With President Bill Clinton and her husband King Juan Carlos by her side, she started walking down some steps and took a tumble. Both men immediately reached out to catch her. At least she had 2 strong gentlemen right there to get her back on her feet. But former First Lady Hillary Clinton watched it all go down with a look of pure concern. Most recently, little Princess Charlotte nearly bidded at Princess Eugenie's wedding in 2018. It was a windy day and blustery weather was causing problems all morning. Lots of hats and fascinators were flying off people's heads. As Princess Charlotte, just 3 years old, walked up the steps to St. George's Chapel with the other bridesmaids, a huge gust of wind almost knocked her over. If her older cousin Lady Louise hadn't been right there to steady her, she would have tumbled down the stairs. Even Charlotte's grandfather Prince Philip, who lived to 99, had his own embarrassing spill back in the day. In 1967, Philip was playing bicycle polo. Yes, bicycle polo is a real sport. In the midst of the game, Philip crashed into another player and was sent flying right off his bike. He took the tumble with good humor though, laughing as he brushed himself off. But I bet his bruises the next weren't nearly as funny. As you can see, not even princes and princesses can avoid the occasional embarrassing fall. Stairs, shoes, wind, there are so many things that can trip up a royal. While their polished image may make them seem perfect at all times, royals are really just like the rest of us. They trip, stumble, slip, and even faceplant on occasion. But they always pick themselves up, brush themselves off, and keep going, often with grace and good humor. At the end of the day, we all put our shoes on one foot at a time. Dear friend, if you like everything new about the royal family and don't want to miss all the novelties, subscribe to our channel and like it. By doing so, you take part in our development. We work for you.